You've got a visa, so you're good to stay in the US, right? Not so fast. This is one of the most common and most dangerous immigration myths. Every year, thousands of people accidentally overstay or violate US immigration law simply because they didn't understand the difference between their visa and their I-94 status. It's not a small detail. This confusion can lead to visa denials, status violations, or even bans from re-entering the country. In 2025, with immigration enforcement more digitized than ever, understanding the difference is critical. Here's the key idea. Your visa is your permission to enter the US. Your I-94 status is what determines how long you're allowed to stay. Think of it like this. A visa is your ticket to a party. But once you're inside, the host sets the rules and the time you need to leave. That's your I-94. Let's break this down. First, what is a visa? A U.S. visa is a document issued by an embassy or consulate abroad. It allows you to request entry to the U.S. at a port of entry, like an airport or land border. There are two main categories of visas: non-immigrant and immigrant. Non-immigrant visas are for temporary stays, like tourists, students, or workers. Examples include the B1 and B2 visa for business and tourism, F1 for students, H1B for specialized workers, and J1 for exchange visitors. Immigrant visas are for those planning to live in the U.S. permanently. Now here's the part that trips people up. Once you're inside the U.S., your visa no longer controls how long you can stay. That's the job of the I-94. So, what exactly is the I-94? The I-94 is your official arrival and departure record. It's a digital record created by U.S. Customs and Border Protection when you enter the country. Your I-94 lists 4 critical pieces of information: the date you entered, the visa category you used, your unique admission number, and most importantly, the date by which you must leave the U.S. That's the real deadline, not your visa expiration date. Here's an example. Let's say you enter the U.S. on a tourist visa in January 2025. Your visa is valid until 2026, but your I-94 says you must leave by June 2025. If you stay past June, even with a valid visa, you're officially out of status. Another twist to be aware of is the D/S notation, often seen on student or exchange visitor I-94s. That stands for duration of status and means your stay is valid as long as you're actively pursuing your studies or program. But the moment you fall out of compliance, your stay is no longer legal. Here's why this matters so much. The I-94 is what determines your legal status inside the U.S. It's what immigration officers, schools, employers, and even DMVs check. Overstaying your I-94, even by 1 day, can trigger visa denials, loss of eligibility, or even a 3 or 10-year re-entry ban. Now let's talk about common mistakes to avoid. First, don't confuse your visa expiration with your I-94 expiration. Always check your I-94 for your stay date. Second, check your I-94 after every re-entry into the USA. New I-94 is issued each time, and the dates can change. Third, never rely solely on what a border officer says. The I-94 in the system is what counts. Fourth, don't file for extensions or changes of status late. If your I-94 expires before your application is submitted, you risk falling out of status. And finally, if your visa expires while you're in the U.S., that's usually okay, if your I-94 is still valid. But if you leave the U.S., you must get a new visa to re-enter. So how can you stay in legal status? First, always check your I-94 at cbp.gov/I-94 after entering the U.S. Second, set calendar reminders for your I-94 expiration, and file extensions or changes at least 45 days in advance. Third, keep digital copies of your visa, I-94, USCIS receipts, and any travel records in a secure folder. Fourth, consult an immigration attorney before making major changes like switching jobs, schools, or visa types. Fifth, never overstay your I-94, even by a day. It can have long-term consequences. And finally, stay informed. Immigration policies change. Don't rely on old forum posts or advice from friends. To wrap it up, your visa lets you enter the United States. But your I-94 is what keeps you there legally. If you take one thing from this video, let it be this: track your I-94. Check it every time you enter the country. Set reminders. And if something looks off, act fast. Because in 2025, immigration records are digital, connected, and constantly reviewed. Protect your status, travel smart, stay legal. Thanks for watching.